All right. Well, let's get started on our preview because we got a lot now. We have a lot of teams to go through with these massive conferences. So we're going to start with the ACC. First thing we're going to be doing is I have the win total line for every team. We're going to run through them. We're going to say over or under for each team. We're going to keep track throughout the entire college football season. So for the win total lines, if we get it right, we get a point. Did we come up with a punishment? Oh, jersey. At the end
Yes.
of the Yep, at the end of it, whoever has the most points will be getting a jersey from the person with the least amount of points.
A
DH
college
Gate
football
College Football
jersey.
Edition. Yeah,
Yes.
DH Gate. That's where I got the sweet Cade McNamara.
I love them for college jerseys. Well, now
Oh
I
yeah.
guess you can get real college jerseys with names, but DH Gate's still better.
hmm Dude, because yeah, they're like $70 and I kind of want to get like
Oh
a
no, they're like $25.
well, not on I'm talking about like on Fanatics.
Oh
Like I
yeah,
think I got
yes,
my
yes,
Minnesota one for like 70.
yes.
All right, so let's start with ACC. I'm just gonna run down standings in alphabetical order. So our first one is Boston College with 4.5. I'll keep going in the same order. So Peyton, start us off.
Over 4.5 wins.
Okay. Michael.
I have the under. I have the under for Boston College.
Mhm.
Under 4.5.
Dante, what you got?
This one's relative. It's a good line. I like the over. ACC sucks, and I think they'll win five.
I have the under for Boston College. I could not find 5 wins for them when I was looking at their schedule. I only see 2 games that they can definitely win, and that's the Duquesne and the Western Kentucky. It's really hard for me to take the over there where they have to find 3 more wins.
Yeah, I mean, I like them home versus Michigan State. I like them home versus Syracuse. I also like home versus Pitt. That's where I find my 5th win. I think they could also beat Louisville. I think they could go to Virginia and beat Virginia also. Yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to lose to Florida State, and, North Carolina. I mean, they could pull off a win at SMU. That's a tough place to play, but they are a new Power Four school. So
Yeah, I
Why
mean,
do we say Why do we say they're obviously going to beat Florida State when Florida State only beat them by 2 last year
but I
okay,
did
but
not say they
come
were
on.
obviously
and
going to beat
and got
Florida State.
outplayed and got outplayed, by the way.
I did not say they were obviously going to beat Florida State.
Sorry, other way around. I meant, why do we think they're automatically going to lose to Florida State?
It's
Boston
week 1.
College.
Okay,
Boston
but
College
when
was the
for the
better
sake
team.
of predictions, for the sake of the line, they are going to beat Florida State. I think that it comes down to I will give them the win against Duquesne, Western Kentucky, Virginia. I think it's going to come down to at home against Pitt, at home against Michigan State, at home against Syracuse. I think those are the 3 games that are going to be toss-ups, and I think that they win one of those games personally.
Yeah, I just like it. They got their toss-up games at home,
Mhm.
so I feel like that gives them a better chance.
Yeah, it seems
That's
like all
another
their
point.
yeah, all the ones that we think they're going to get mollywopped in, they're at them, like at Mizzou,
Yeah,
at
so that's
FSU,
not
at
like
UNC.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can easily see them beating. I mean, this Pitt team is not as good even as they have been about the last couple years, I don't think. Michigan State is still not good either. They're still in the rebuild phase. And I mean, what was the third one? Oh, Syracuse. I think Kyle McCord will probably just out talent them. But so I think they go 2-1.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So we got Cal, new addition, Golden Bears. Their line is 5.5. Payne, what you got there?
Um, this line I felt like was really good. I think they go over 5.5, get 6 wins, and barely get bowl eligible.
Mhm. That's good. Michael?
I have the under for Cal. I'm not sure how they're going to fare with the ACC style of play. Honestly, I think it could go either way. I'm not too heavily committed to either side of the line, though.
Dante?
Contrary to them, I am heavy on one side. I'm slamming the under. It's a lot of travel for these West Coast teams.
I'm also going to take the under on Cal. So we're favored towards the under.
I think
Like I
that's
said,
fair. The
it's going to be
travel.
tough to see these teams travel.
It
Um,
is. That's true.
all right, our next one up is Clemson, 9.5. Peyton, what you got?
The under, baby. Give me the
Hey.
under. Cade Klubnik is not good. And their
Uh,
defense lost a lot. So
I heard because I saw someone else post a video, like they're not using the transfer portal as much, but they have a lot of guys that they're like actually keeping from freshman to junior that are going to play this year.
yeah, I mean that says a lot about Dabo, but they also have not played, you know.
Mhm. Michael, what you got?
I also have the under. I think 9.5 is a high line. It's kind of in the same boat as Peyton. Like I've never been a big Dabo guy. I think he's corny, and I mean honestly, like I feel like he was carried by T Law. I know he had some good teams without him, but I don't know. I always thought that I never really loved him as a coach, so I got the under.
Dante, what you got?
I got the over, guys. This is an easy conference again. Like I said, I it went 8-4 last year, and last year was a down year. I think they can win 10.
I will
What did they
also
do to
take
get better?
I didn't hear them.
I said, and what did they add to get better?
They kept most of their team. That's like the most important thing you can do in college sports.
I will also be taking the over. I love this at 9.5 because okay, let's say they lose to Georgia week 1, they can run the table. And I think
Yeah.
the only other game that you can worry about them losing is at Florida State, which I think they could also still win that game. So they need to find another loss other than those two. Obviously, they can cough one up, but then I'm still hoping you can say upset
I mean,
FSU.
I think App State's a tougher out of conference schedule game than people are giving them credit for.
Yes.
I mean, South Carolina is an SEC school. I think North NC State is going to be a tough game.
Mhm.
You know,
Going through Virginia Tech is rough too. It's never easy to win there.
right. I mean, you guys know how I feel about Virginia Tech, but I wouldn't say that's a gimme. I mean, I feel like Georgia, Florida State, and they could easily fumble one of those other games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with. I mean, I think they lose to Georgia. I think they beat Florida State. And I think they'll drop maybe one of the other ones, but I'm at 10-2 or 11-1.
Yeah, Dabo's always disappointed after he won that national championship too. So they've never really lived up to their expectations after that, in my opinion.
All right. Next up, we got Duke. Their line is at 5.5. Peyton, what you got?
Dude, give me the under.
Whew. A confident on there.
Yeah.
Michael, what you got?
I also have the under. The more I look at that roster, the less I like it. Which sucks.
Dante, what
I'm
you
a
got?
big Duke guy.
With the two of them, I got the under. I'm very underwhelmed.
I got the over. I got the over 5.5. I think they have been easy out of conference, and I think they can steal a few games in the ACC.
UConn though is solid.
It's hard for me to think that they are not going to be in a bowl game. I think they get to their 6 wins.
I mean, so even if they go 3-1 and they're out of conference, I don't think they win 2 conference games.
3 conference teams, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't even think they win 2, but yeah, much less 3.
Yeah, even better. We don't think they win 2.
I mean, they maybe beat Wake Forest, but that's on the road.
Yeah.
They go to Georgia Tech, which I think
Yeah, that's what sucks for them is a lot of their lower ACC
they're on the
games.
road.
They're on the road. I'll stick with it. I'll stick with it. All right. Next up, we got FSU 9.5. Hey,
Under. Dude,
easy enough.
DJ Ungalele sucks.
Michael, what you got?
I actually have the over. I am on the kind of the opposite side of it. I think he's a good quarterback that also has, strangely enough, experience in the ACC, despite him not coming from the ACC. And I think that he's a pretty good quarterback. And I think that beyond that, they have a chip on their shoulder from last year. As much as I hate to say it, I have the over.
Dante?
Well, it's hard to say they have a chip on their shoulder when they have like 0 people from last year's team. So I'm taking the under. I don't think I've ever seen a team lose this much. Between Florida State and Washington this year, Both those teams are just absolutely decimated from last year's teams. They got no one. They're not winning 10 games. There's no way.
Yes, I also have the under as well. Just looking at their schedule, I think they have one of the tougher ones in the ACC. Like it seems like all their games are the upper half teams in the
But Ryan,
ACC.
they have a McNamara on their roster.
Yeah, but they're not playing him. That's the thing. So fade until McNamara steps on the field. Hey, if everyone gets hurt and it's Dylan McNamara, I'll take all the FSU stock that I can.
Maybe it's just because I'm a hater on Miami and also Notre Dame, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think never mind. I'm not going to get into it because you guys are the favorites, and that's just kind of the punishment for not having the popular opinion, and that's fine.
All right, next up we got Georgia Tech, who is at 5.5. Payne, what you got?
I said the over actually.
All right, Michael.
I think that the over will probably be the overwhelming favorite here, but I have the over as well.
Dante.
No, I mean, you don't even have to ask me. You already know I'm taking the over on that disrespectful ass line.
I have the under.
Wow.
I took under 5. I'm being separate than you all.
I gotta know. I gotta ask. What makes you think Duke is better than Georgia Tech? That's all. That's all I want to know. Why is Duke
I think
better than
I think
Georgia
we'll have
Tech?
to wait till later. I think we'll just have to wait till later. I think the answer will come up later.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm kind of excited for that now.
All right. No other arguments there.
I got
All right.
nothing.
Yeah. Louisville. Louisville is at 8.5. Dayton, what you got?
Under, I think they win maybe 6 games.
Michael, what you got?
I also have the under.
Dante?
Under.
This will be the first one we have a full sweep. I also have the under. Eight and a half is a
8.5
lot. Is a lot for Louisville.
Crazy line, dude. I mean,
They had
that's
a great year. They had an awesome year last year. And what they? I mean, I guess they went 10-2, but they lost their quarterback. They lost a lot.
Yeah, I think that's just 8.5 is a lot for them. All right, next up we got Miami. That is at 9.5. Peyton, what you got? Oh,
Dude, the over I think is so free here. Their schedule is so cake. They have the most cake schedule of all time.
I mean, an easy game to start,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, they're out of conference after Florida is FAMU, Ball State, and USF.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's like a Georgia out of conference schedule. It's so bad.
And
Their
then
road games, I mean,
the road games are Cal, Louisville, Georgia Tech, and Syracuse. Those are all winnable road games too.
I see
I
a
think it's the
loss.
same situation. Like, I mean, I know you all are high on Georgia Tech, but I don't think you have them beating Miami. But it's like, okay, let's say they even lose that first game at Florida. You have to find more losses. Sorry, Michael, you go.
it's all right. I also have the over. This is one where I feel like Miami is overrated as hell. I'm a big fan of Ward. I really liked him at Washington State, even though he didn't really have a great year. But yeah, I think that 9.5, like their schedule's so easy. It really is so easy. They could definitely fumble 3 of them, but I'd be surprised.
Dante, what you got?
I got the under, but barely. I think 9-3 is right what I'm putting him at. So again, really, I think it's the perfect line. I wouldn't actually bet on it either way, but I like 9-3.
Yes, I have them at the over. So like I said, it's hard for me to find them 3 clear or even at some points 3 losses in their schedule. All right, next up is NC State, who are at 8.5.
NC State over 8.5 wins.
All right, Michael, what you got?
I also have the over.
Dante?
Gonna go opposite again. Again, I think it's a perfect line. I like them at 8-4, so wouldn't bet it. I like 8-4. I'll go under.
I'm also going under. I think the same thing. I had it very close. They were like one of the last teams I did because I just couldn't. They always play teams tough, and they're gonna have those few games. Like I think who were we talking about before? We're like it's against Clemson. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Clemson on the road, but I just can't say
Yeah,
that that's a.
their road games after Clemson is at Cal, at Georgia Tech, at North Carolina. Like it's
Mhm.
their
I mean,
ACC way
I hear two very losable games out of that.
They're losable, but they're also very winnable too. They're like toss ups, and you got to think they
Yeah.
win. You know,
All right. Next up is UNC. There you go, Payne. What you got,
under 7.5.
Michael?
I have the over as well. Actually, I have the over. Sorry, contrary to Pete.
Dante?
Yeah, I think it's another great line. I think I honestly not as much as the other two. I like them 6-6 or 7-5. I'll go under.
I'm going to take the over for UNC.
I think they're a
They
good
kind of
team.
they have an easy start. I mean, I like obviously at Minnesota. I don't think they're going to struggle there. Minnesota's
Minnesota's
actually
favorite.
favored.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
don't know. I don't
God.
know why you think. Why do you think North Carolina on the road against Minnesota is a lock?
I don't know, man. Does Minnesota doesn't have a quarterback? They really don't.
Who is
Like talk
North
about
Carolina's quarterback? I don't even know.
Let's see who their roster has. They have Jefferson Bowes, Connor Harrell, who's a freshman, Tad Hudson, who's a freshman, and Russell Tabor, who's a sophomore. Jefferson Bowes is the only upperclassman, and his 2023 season stats was 1 completion, and he had 3 yards.
That's supposed to be better than Minnesota.
Russell Tabor has no stats, and the other 2 freshmen obviously don't have stats. So their most
I hate
experienced
that
quarterback has thrown one pass.
Manis guy.
Their most experienced. Oh no, the freshman played a little bit actually. He threw 33 passes, and he has a 49.3 QBR.
Round of applause for the guy who's apparently better than the Greek dude at Minnesota.
Dude, that Greek dude, he's so bad.
Bravo, man.
I was so annoyed because I was looking at that. Like, even though I'm saying like I expect UNC to win, I was going to take Minnesota because I thought they would be an underdog. But now I don't even want to take Minnesota. I might take UNC.
Sir yaps a lot.
Sorry.
It's no
All right.
evidence.
Next one is Pitt at 5.5.
Dude, Pitt stinks, but their schedule is so easy too. I'm taking the over. I think they win 6 games.
I'm taking the over as well. I kind of agree with that. I feel like we're saying that a lot, but also the ACC is just not that good.
It's just so mid.
It's really not good.
Dante.
Yeah, I'm sticking with it. Boston College will beat them at home, but I still like the over. They're 6-6, 6-6, perfect for them.
I'm going to take the under. Because like the way I did some of these 5-5 teams was I thought like, can I see them in a bowl game? And I was like, I don't really see Pitt in a bowl game this year. I like them to lose like those games that like you would like all the middle of the pack ones. I expect them to lose more than win. So I'll take
I'm
them on the
so
under.
excited to hear your logic on why Duke is better than these teams. I'm just really excited. I hate this Duke team. I think they're gonna win like 2 games.
All right, next is SMU.
I'm going under 8.5. It's a great line. I think they win 8 ball games.
Mm-hmm. Michael.
I have the over. I do think it's a good line. I think that their schedule is a little weaker than others as well.
Dante.
Over.
All right, and I have the under there. I think same thing as Payne. Like I think it's very close. I think it is an 8-14.
This is a toss-up one for me.
Yeah.
I think it's going to really depend on how they adapt to the to the change in difficulty. Like I think it's one thing to play in the American and play a couple good teams a year versus playing like Power 5 teams every week, like week in, week out. And I think
their non-conference schedule starts with Nevada and Houston Christian, which I think are 2 easy wins.
They might put up 75 on both of those teams.
And then you have BYU and TCU.
I don't think BYU is good. TCU is obviously going to be tough.
And then you go to Florida State or you host Florida State right after that.
I think they could come out of that with 4 wins, honestly. I mean,
Yeah, but then the rest of that schedule is
No, I know.
is
But
dog.
if you lose two
Yeah.
of those 3 games, then your confidence is really low, and then you might fumble one of those games.
well,
I like
they would
the
have one more
over.
game to spare. I mean, if you lose 2 of those games, you'd still have 1 to spare.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be over.
I like the over for the team that's going to lead the ACC in points.
All right. Next up, we have Stanford at 3.5. Ian, what do you got?
I've got the under. I
Michael,
have the
I
under.
also have the under.
Dante.
Worst team in the ACC, and they have to travel cross coast for all their road games. 0-12.
I also have the under
No,
at
I
three and
think
a
they
half.
beat Cal Poly.
Oh my
Maybe.
Hold
God.
your horses here. Don't be so confident.
What's the spread on Stanford Cal Poly? Like 6.5,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe.
I mean, they are home against TCU, and that one's they're plus 8.5.
I mean, dude, last year they got blown out in every game but beat Washington State 10-7.
All right, fine. 1-11. You got me.
Yeah.
All right, next up is Syracuse, and their line is 7.5. Pagan.
Under 7.5.
All right.
I also have the under.
Really,
Dante.
really close. I like 7 and 5 for them, so I'll go under.
I have the over. I think so. I'm like the opposite with them with Pitt, where I think they're going to win more of their mid games in the ACC. So I had them reaching their over. Next up is Virginia at 4.5.
Dude, this one was tough for me. I think they get the over. Just because they're out of conference. They host Richmond. They go to Coastal Carolina, but you don't know what Coastal's going to be. They've only been relevant with Grayson McCall at the helm, and obviously he's at NC State now. And then, I mean, then they also play Notre Dame and out of conference. So, I mean, I take the over, but barely.
Michael, what you got?
Yeah, this one was tough for me too. I really think that this team, like on paper, is a 5-win team, but I just couldn't find it in their schedule. So I have the under.
Dante.
I'm with Peyton. 5 and 7. I'll go over.
I have the under, but I think it's close. It does depend how they do in those out of conference games because I think they will lose a majority of their ACC games. All right. Next up is Virginia Tech. I think we all know what Michael's got. And what you
No, I
got?
mean, I really do like Virginia Tech. Actually, I think they're a good football team, but I think the line is high. I think they win 8 games, so I'm taking the under 8.5.
You know where I stand on this. Give me the under. Their defense is gonna get shredded.
Especially week 2.
Dante, what you got?
I'm in the same boat. I was really excited to take their over, but again, 8.5 is too high. So I'll say they go over 6.5. Is that right, Michael? 6.5. I'll go over
No, we
six and a
said
half,
7 was
under
a
eight and a
push.
half.
We said 7 was a push.
All right, over 7, under 8.5.
Wait, Ryan,
I
can we
have the over.
pause for a second? Vit Krejci just got a 4-year, $10 million deal to return to the Hawks.
Cannot stand the NBA and how they pay people, dude.
The freest unders of all time was Vit.
Just paid $10 million to a traffic cone.
All right. Sorry.
I have the over for Virginia Tech. I was just able to find a lot of wins in their schedule. I like them to hit 9. And to upset a few teams because they have a lot of their tough ones at home. All right, and our last one, Wake Forest at 4.5.
Over.
Michael,
This was another tough one for me. Honestly, I really like a lot of these ACC lines. Like, I think the odds makers cooked. I have the under, but again, I think it could go both ways.
Dante,
Randy takes the under.
And I have the over for them. It's just so tough. Like, I don't know how to compare them with their 2 games against like at Stanford and then home against like Cal. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, those 2 games I think they win. I think they also beat North Carolina A&T. I think they beat the Ragin' Cajuns, and then
mhm.
you just have to beat one of Duke or Virginia.
What about
Ooh.
UConn? You think UConn's
I,
at
I'm
home?
not
They
I
gonna
can't
also
beat
lie,
think
them.
they
that's
could
actually
beat
a good
UConn.
point. I will be making the first switch after hearing schedule stuff. I will be moving to the over.
I do think I think that's a convincing argument. Again, I'm not like favored one way. I think that they could drop one of those games.
Yeah, I was not able to look at Wake Forest schedule, and we all know where I stand on Duke on Duke. So, and obviously Cal and Stanford are horrific. So I'll switch to the over, barely.
I think Cal could beat them.
They could.
Home
They
against Cal? I guess, yeah. It really doesn't matter at that point because they got to travel from California too. All right. Let's move on to our
You know what?
underwhelming team.
I'm
Oh,
going with the over.
okay.
I'm
Full
going with the over.
Peyton, you went with the over as well?
Yeah, I convinced them to take the
Yeah,
over.
that's
yeah.
not fair. That's not. I think we should get more points for that. They're just
I
jumping
should
ship
already get a
over here.
point for convincing 2 people to follow.
Well, I mean, it's a fair point. Like, yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. Maybe I'm stupid for not going with my gut, but I do really think they're a fucking terrible team.
If they go over, I should get 2 points to you all getting one.
All right, fine. You know what? I'll be indecisive and be different. I'll stick with the under just so that we're different. Because if it came down to that, I'd be so sick. I would be so sick. I'd
Oh
never be
yes,
able
it's
to
definitely going to
myself.
come down to Wake Forest, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, their points weigh as much as everyone else. I mean, shit.
Well, who's their last game? Sorry, I lost it.
Duke at home.
Sweating out Wake
Oh yeah,
Forest,
see
dude.
that's like a free win because Duke is so bad.
That's some sick shit though. Sweating out. If we had to sweat out Wake Forest Duke to see who won.
Last week will be so much more fun now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
All right,
let's
we'll start
get
with
to
our
it.
underwhelming team. So, Payne, who do you have being underwhelming?
My most underwhelming team this year is DJ Ungalele and Florida State. Just the quarterback is enough for me to
Mhm.
say that. So
I'll just say mine. Mine is also FSU. I have them as my underwhelming team at 9.5. I think I see a world where they can only have 7 wins, and if shit hits the fan,
Let me go.
Dante.
Mine is also Florida State.
Oh no.
Wow. All right. Well, you guys kind of knew where this was going to lead to. Mine is Virginia Tech. Um, I just don't see Florida State being that underwhelming in this shitty conference. I mean, I just don't. But I mean,
but I don't think they're going to be that bad, but their line is basically 10 wins.
but it's not basically 10, it's 9.5.
That's basically 10. That means you have to win 10 to go over. Are you
Well, no,
It's
I
just
know,
scary
but what
because
I'm
like
saying is for the sake of the scoring of the underwhelming team, like I think the only way you win it is if they have 7 wins. Like
Yeah. So the only way you win is if Virginia Tech has 6.
actually, the only way that actually no one's going to win it except for me. I'm the only one that could win it if Virginia Tech has more losses because you said if it's a three-way tie, no one gets points. So it could only
It's
be a
true.
three-way tie unless Virginia Tech has a more underwhelming season than
Okay, Michael, for this one, since us 3 agree, if you win, you can get
we'll
3
raise it to
points
3.
for this one. And if we win, then we
you
each
each get
one.
one. All right,
Yeah.
fine. Deal. I'm putting an asterisk next to this on my
Can
spreadsheet.
we also say if when Virginia Tech goes over their line of 8.5, can Michael get -1?
No. Let's not
No,
torture
no,
him
no.
too much. He's already gonna have to pay me and Peyton.
Yeah. All right. So for my sleeper team, I'm going with the first team in alphabetical order, Boston College.
Okay.
My reasoning here is sticking on the quarterback conversation. Thomas Castellanos is probably the most underrated quarterback in the country, in my opinion.
He's a good quarterback.
He is so good. They have a new head coach. Their old head coach was hired to be the defensive coordinator of my Green Bay Packers. and I think they could be very boom or bust. I could see a world where they win 3 games. I could also see a world where they win 6. So I took them as my sleeper. So
Michael, who you got?
I think that's a good sleeper pick. I have NC State. I thought it was a good line. The more I looked at it, I kind of strayed away from it. But I really do feel like if there's one team that could like really maybe win 10 on their schedule, it's NC State. I could see them winning 10.
I thought about them too, but their line's already so high that I feel like they're not really a sleeper.
Yeah, and I've thought about that, but I'm gonna stick to my guns and never mind. I'll say it in a minute, but
Dante, who you got?
I think we all know where this is going. I got the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. I think going on Peyton's topic with the quarterback, Haynes King is a damn good quarterback for a team projected 5.5 wins. They have one of the best freshman receivers in the country, Eric Singleton Jr. That guy's good. I mean, their defense should be improved this year. They have a lot of seniors on their defense. So I think Georgia Tech is going to end up going 7-5 or 8-4.
My sleeper team is the Duke Blue Devils.
Holy fuck!
I think their line is just too low. Their first 4 out of conference games. I mean, I kind of like them against Northwestern. At home against UNC, they're currently only a 3-point dog. At the end of the season, they're favored against Wake Forest already for some reason on ESPN Bet. That's already, you could say, 6 wins there.
What are
I
their
like them at
first 4 out
7.
of
I like
conference
them at
games?
even 8.
What are their out of conference games?
They're home against Elon,
Okay,
at Northwestern,
loss.
home against UConn,
Loss.
at Middle Tennessee.
Win.
Win. All right, 2-2.
they are not 2-2 there. They are 3-1 at the worst case scenario, bro.
Dude, you were underestimating UConn.
No, I
You're
am not
underestimating how
UConn.
bad Duke is.
Their quarterback has a 48 QBR, bro.
All right.
22 passes.
Player of the year, ACC. This doesn't really count for points, but
you don't go first. And it does count for points. I think if we get this right, we should get like 5 points.
oh yeah, because I
Then
guess
I'll
that's
change
an
mine.
award, right?
My player of the year is Cameron Ward.
All right, great. That saves me some time. Mine is also Cam Ward.
Well, and that's why I don't like giving points on this, because I'm also going to say Cam Ward. I think this is like.
Hey guys,
Great.
ask me who mine is.
Dante, who is it?
It's Cam Ward.
Okay, so this one we won't
so
do
here's
points.
the thing. That's why I said, like, when I was saying, like, oh, player of the year, like, obviously, I don't think mine can win it. I like Riley Leonard. I think Riley Leonard can do good this year. That's why I like Duke.
Whoa,
Like,
really? You like Duke because of Riley Leonard, huh?
Oh my God, this
Huh?
kid is
You
so
like
stupid,
Duke
bro.
because of Riley Leonard?
Is he not
Boy,
playing?
do I
Holy
have
shit,
news for
Ryan,
you.
get your head out of your ass. He
Ryan,
got
I
Notre
told
Dame.
you who their quarterbacks were.
Where do you think Riley Leonard's playing right now?
Holy
says
shit!
here.
Congrats. This is why our podcast is stuck, because we got idiots like this running in.
Where is he playing?
He's at
Notre
Notre
Dame.
Dame.
Then, dude, why does every other ESPN thing? That's why I was confused. I saw him on there. I liked Riley Leonard. God damn it. I don't like Duke anymore.
It's on the record. It's on the record. He took the over.
Dude, what is this then? Why is he
Their
still on
quarterback is Malik Murphy.
Oh.
It's on the record.
Also not on their roster. I mean, what is ESPN doing? They got lines for Wake Forest at the end of the year, but they can't get their rosters right.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. We're not refilming that whole thing. So you just got to take the L on
Dude,
Duke.
that's
Yeah.
annoying.
And guess what? Now you sound like a complete bozo.
Yeah,
All
now
right,
I
well,
really don't like Duke. I
Cut
really
out
don't
the
like
whole
Duke.
Riley Leonard thing.
No, keep it.
No, we're absolutely leaving that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we'll leave it because that's just, oh my God. Whatever, I'll still stick with Duke. God, dude, they're gonna
All right.
suck.
So we all have Cam Ward winning the conference player of the year. So let's go to the conference championship game. I have the NC State Wolfpack losing in the conference championship. I have them making it there just because I think Grayson McCall is a good quarterback, and their defense is always good. I might be biased because their defensive coordinator is from the great state of West Virginia. But their defense is always good. That's what you can expect from NC State, and they have Concepcion on the outside. He's an absolute monster, like a Debo Samuel type player. But I have them losing to the University of Miami. I said Cam Ward is just an absolute dog. Their defense got improved. Also, maybe bias here because Marshall's defensive coordinator from 2 years ago is their defensive coordinator, and Marshall's defensive backs coach is their defensive backs coach now. And they got Marshall's two best defensive players transferred there too. So,
all right. So I have Florida State beating NC State in the conference final. NC State was a hard one because I genuinely think both them and Miami will finish with 10 wins. And so I'm not about to go do all the freaking tiebreakers. So I'm just going to go with the one I'd rather see in there, and it's my dark horse, NC State. And I have
Peyton. Wait, are you done?
Sorry. Yeah, dude, I'm done. Go ahead.
Well, there was a long pause.
I'm kidding.
All right, so I'm definitely on a different wavelength here. I've got Clemson over SMU in the ACC championship game. Like I said,
right.
I think.
All right.
Like I said,
wow.
I think that SMU is going to lead the ACC in points. I think they're going to pull off. Their ACC schedule after Florida State is atrocious. It is atrocious. It might be the easiest one that I saw. On top of that, the fact that I already think that they're a really solid team. But I got Clemson beating them, though.
All right. For my conference championship, I don't have Duke. I have Clemson losing to U Miami.
okay.
I like U Miami to win it all. I like that. What are they? I think they're maybe a little over plus 200, like 250 on Hard Rock to win the ACC. I really like that.
I want to ask Dante here, why not go with SMU for your dark horse then?
Because their line was already 8.5. I think Georgia Tech will. I think SMU realistically goes 10, and so their line was what? It was already 8.5, right?
Yeah, it's 8.
So I think that they go, even if they go 11-1, they're only 2.5 over it. Georgia Tech, I think realistically could win 8 games.
That would be 2.5.
They would, yeah. So it'd also be 2.5. But I'm saying that's SMU's absolute ceiling. While I don't see Georgia Tech really getting like more than 8 wins, like they still can.